Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/best of for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by DreckCaterpillar77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Under the Bus Girlfriend, posted September 26, 2012. Yeah, because 2012, that's a year. God damn. September 26, 2012. My boyfriend, 20 male, acts differently around me, 19 female, in front of our friends to impress them as an ideal boyfriend. Advice needed. Forgive me if this post runs a bit long. I really feel like I have to give context to our relationship before I can explain the problem. There is a too long didn't read at the bottom, but please bear with me if you have a moment. I'd really appreciate it. Background info. My boyfriend and I have been going out for 9 months. We never went through a dating phase. We were just close friends who like each other, hooked up, and are now dating. So we have a very relaxed best friends feel to our relationship. I'll admit, I wanted to feel more like his girlfriend at times. I've come to terms with us being more friends than a couple. Okay? Issue. My boyfriend has a fear of our friends picking a side when we break up, since most of our friends are mutual. As a result, he always acts differently with me when we're with our friends. He'll be more affectionate publicly and try to be this ideal boyfriend to impress our friends. A few examples. He will only do things like cook breakfast or dishes if my roommates are around to see him help out. He will offer to pay for me when we dine out with friends. I always decline because privately, he has never offered to pay, only in front of friends. Also because I know he doesn't actually want to pay. I asked our cab driver to pick up our friends along the way because it was raining. My boyfriend did not want to pay for them, so I said I would. When the cab dropped us off first, he quickly paid for us. After we got inside, he asked for me to pay him back. Since the beginning, I've always maintained the stance of splitting the bills 50-50 because we're both broke college students. So I have no expectation for him to pay for me. Ever. But it irks me when he only wants to pay for me if there's an audience. I'm a very private person when it comes to relationships, so the PDA makes me really uncomfortable. My friends have implied to me I should be a better girlfriend to him because I don't seem to care for him as much publicly. Privately, I do a lot more for him. It makes me really sad because previously I've wanted to feel like his girlfriend, but he only makes me feel special to impress his friends. To me, it feels like all of this boils down to when we break up, he will look like a better person because of the show he puts on. I feel like he's slowly pushing me under a bus. I'm really happy with him when we're alone, but when we're in a group, I can't help but feel fake. When I look back and think about it, I get really sad. I really don't know how to address this problem with him. Please give me some advice. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend acts like a different person when we're with friends to impress them as this ideal boyfriend. How do I address this problem? Midway eyes update that's potentially destructive, but I'm going to say it anyways. First off, if you ever find yourself in a position like this where your boyfriend's being performatively nice to you only in public, or your girlfriend for that matter, talk to them first in private and just explain like why this hurts. And if they just write you off and continue doing it, then honestly, put on a show. Break down, crying, or just break down into emotions, like not angry, but just genuinely heartbroken and be like, why are you only this nice to me when people are around? Just do it. Anyone who's been on the other end of a relationship like this who didn't really realize or put together what was happening until afterwards, they know that this stuff hurts. And like, you would wish that you called them out on it because of the amount of damage they're able to spin because they have the perception of being the perfect romantic partner, when behind closed doors, they just did not give a shit. Relevant comments tells eternity. You're saying when we break up. It sounds to me that you might have already decided that it's not worth continuing with the relationship. Opie responds, we're both really young, so it's likely that sometime down the road, we will break up. So we're not saying we will break up in the near future, but when we do, he thinks our friends will pick sides. I'm happy with him aside from this problem, so I want to work past it. Deleted user. Good, you're young. Plenty of time to find someone better that you're also happy with but isn't an asshole. OP later edits their post. Edit, pretty much everyone is advising me to break it off with him. I want to keep in mind that there are good things about him, and he does make me happy still. I would like to talk to him about the problem and attempt to fix it. If anyone can share some advice on how to approach the subject, that'd be great. Thank you for all your feedback. Smiley face. Update, September 29th, 2012, 3 days later. I wanted to thank everyone for their feedback in the previous thread. Here's my update story after taking in your advices. I'll be honest and say I didn't want to break up with him despite that was the general consensus. Unfortunately, it worked out that way regardless, and I'm extremely sad right now. But I'm heading home this weekend to be with family. Hopefully it'll take my mind off of things. I brought up the issues in the previous thread with him, and we finally talked to the bottom of it. I guess in retrospect, this was a long overdue talk. I always convinced myself our relationship was okay, but as you all told me, it wasn't. It came down to our relationship being too serious for him. He just wants to go out there and have his fun. After all, we're in college. I told him I wasn't going to wait around and have him come back when he needs emotional support. I'd say we ended it amicably at the time, last night, but I can slowly feel myself resenting him for dragging me along all these months. I just wanted to thank Reddit for pushing me to have this overdue talk. As sad and resentful as I am right now, I know when I look back in a month or so, it'll be for the best. It's just so bittersweet. Thank you to those who shared their advice. Too long didn't read, I took Reddit's advice, now we're broken up. It's bittersweet. If you're ever in a relationship where your partner is more worried about the optics of being with you and how he's being perceived while with you than how your actual feelings are and how the relationship's moving forward, that's not a good relationship. That's just someone who's more worried about seeming like they're the good person in the relationship than actually being the good person in the relationship. Like, don't stick with someone who's more concerned with maintaining his image when it comes to the relationship than actually maintaining the relationship itself. That's just a recipe for heartbreak, stress, disaster, and potentially loss of friendships, as he was setting it up for. My catty mean girl brain jumps to the idea that maybe he's doing this as a way to impress another girl in the friend group, so that way she's like, ooh, whoa, look at that. I want some of that. And then now that it's broken up, it's like, hey babe, I'm all yours. Look at how great I am in the relationship. You don't mind spotting me for the taxi fare, right? This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Valentine Blue, posted to r/relationships, posted November 1st, 2015. My family was robbed, and we know who did it. How do I comfort my family and confront the robber? Hi, relationships. I'm completely devastated right now. So, I live in City A, but have been staying with my boyfriend for the past couple of days to sit my university exams in City B. I didn't bring much, just some clothes and my computer. At home, in City A, I live at my mother's house alone with the family dogs and my cats. My mother lives at my father's house with him and the kids. While I'm away, the house is empty. My mother goes over to my house twice a day to feed the animals and let them in/out. I got a call this morning from my mom saying that the house had been robbed. Everything that isn't a large item was cleared out. TVs, laptops, even my clothes, bikes, shoes, and makeup. My immediate concern is the animals, who were accounted for and fine. Mom lets me know she's going to take note of everything that's missing and file a report. I thanked her, hang up, and start crying. The rest of the day, I'm just filled with anger and hate and anxiety. My mom later called me to tell me that my little sister, 9, let herself in and took some friends over to see the dogs. One of the friends was asking extremely suspicious questions. So who lives here? Are you sure no one is here? Whose car is that in the driveway? It's broken, just sits there. Whose makeup is that? Do your dogs bite strangers? It got to the point where my sister was uncomfortable and they left. That night, we were robbed. These friends would have seen where we kept the spare key. I talked to my sister and I think she's feeling guilty. Yes, it was stupid to show where the key was, but she's only 9 and has been friends with these girls for a while. My little sister showed my mother where this girl lives. The key was missing from its spot. They still had it. I'm worried that the evidence is not strong enough to warrant a police search of the house. How should I approach them if the police do not? I can't just let it go. They have $10,000 worth of our stuff. This happened in New Zealand, so I'm not too sure if your legal advice is relevant here, although it may still help. At the moment, I'm just seeking advice on how to approach the thieves and how to confront my little sister and family. The door is now locked at the bolt on the inside since they have the key, but this does mean we need to get my little sister to jump through the window to unlock the door. And it also means that there's an open window that a kid can get through. I'm just feeling so stressed out and anxious, and I want to get back to make sure the thieves don't return and that my animals are safe. But I have an exam in 2 days and traveling will take a day each way. Help me? I posted here to help relieve some anxiety as I haven't slept all night and the sun is coming up. Too long didn't read, little sister revealed a way to get into our house to some of her close friends. One of them asked suspicious questions. That night, we were robbed. We're all fairly sure that girl led her family to our house. How can I confront the thieves and make sure that my little sister isn't feeling like shit? Update. I sent an email to my paper coordinator and she replied saying I should go home immediately and not to worry about the exam, and that I'm guaranteed EGRETAT pass based on my average throughout the paper. My mother has been amazing and reported everything. She gave the police the address of the suspected house. Turns out there's a 14-year-old girl who is well known to the police there, and they're going to move in on it. Fingerprints were found at my house and recorded. I'm packing my stuff now. One comment suggested talking to my sister about security and safety. I will do that. But first, I want to let her know that she did a really good job connecting the suspicious behavior, and if it wasn't for her good detective work, we wouldn't have a lead, or something along those lines, just to help her feel better about the situation. Any recommendations? I'll update when I'm home. Thank you for your replies. Update 2. Holy fuck. I'm home. Just found some of our kitchen knives around the house. The thieves had walked around with them until they knew no one was home. The girl has gang connections as well. We've called the police and told them this information, and they've upgraded the emergency of the case. All the locks have been changed and there's extra security on the windows. Mom doesn't want me to stay there tonight since I'm alone, but I'm not going to leave my pets there, and I'm worried about the furniture. Maybe I can just stay up all night on my computer. Comments. Goat is my co-pilot. What are you doing here? How are you still in the air? I would call the police and let them handle it. User Eagerstein comments. You may have enough circumstantial evidence to enable the police to enter the house or question the suspects. They may also be able to gather more by conducting a forensic investigation on your house. Report this to the police and tell them everything you know. OP responds, thanks. This gives me more confidence that it will be handled by the police. I hope so, probably the safest option. For now, I'll put the thought of confrontation aside. It's 7:40 a.m., so my mother should be at the police station within a couple hours. I myself have to get some sleep. I'll update if anything changes. Thanks. OP responds, I told my mother your suggestion. They're actually at the house now and have a good print. She says, found one good print, have a strong lead, dealing with all that stuff now, so can't message. I sent her a heart. I just realized that I sent a smiley face and how big of a deal that is. I've spent the last 24 hours really upset, but now I'm feeling hopeful. User Apple Sangria comments, you don't confront this person, you contact the police immediately, then change all the locks. You also let your sister learn from her mistakes. Don't berate her or intentionally make her feel badly, but make clear that giving away personal information is dangerous and leads to situations like this. OP responds, my mother is sorting out the locksmith, definitely going to the police. We'll file a police report, but I just have a feeling that we don't have enough evidence for them to get a search warrant. And I feel like I have to do something, you know? Like, I can't just let this go. But that confrontation depends if the police do search the house. I'll update on that one. User Nora Oya comments, I don't know about New Zealand, but we had a similar situation. It was the neighbors. The police would not investigate, although the amount stolen was way less. They did take a report. I think if you tell the whole story to the police, they may take action. Even without a search warrant, the police might decide to go interview the people you suspect. You say there were a few girls, and you know the make and model of the car. This should narrow it down to one girl. The police should certainly go and talk to the family, and if there's anything suspicious, that might trigger a search or a warrant. With a really good police force, unlike the one where I live, they may send someone to lift fingerprints. That would be the best outcome. Please be careful and secure your home. Think about a security system. Ours was self-installed, but the company that helped us via the internet/phone calls is outstanding, and it costs $65 a month. Has been worth it. OP responds, police are at the house now, and they have a good print and a good lead. I'm sorry about what happened with you, and I thought the police's reaction would be the same, but they're helping and taking prints right now. I'm really relieved. I was looking at security systems earlier today, actually, when I was too anxious to study. Found a decent-looking one with good reviews for under $200 on AliExpress. Thanks for taking the time to post. I'm feeling a lot better reading these replies. Sunflower Power comments, you should also check local pawn shops in your area for the missing items. If the thieves pawned anything, you can get it back for free by showing your copy of the police report, and it'll become part of the police investigation. When this happened to a friend of mine, we went around to the local pawn shops and asked if anybody had pawned a guitar of X type, an amp, and some jewelry that looked like this or that. Pawn shops typically keep the pawned items in a back room until the ticket is either paid for in full or the time limit expires. The items then moved to the floor for sale. We found my friend's stuff at the second pawn shop we tried, and she got all of her stuff back. If anything was pawned in the last few days, you could go with a list and description of the missing items and might even find them all in one place. If you have pictures of the items and/or serial numbers, that would also really help. OP responds, I've been checking Facebook buy, sell, and swap pages, but didn't think about the physical shops. Since the items are registered as stolen, the police will be notified if they turn up. But I'll still go around myself. Thank you. Comment from user Elm City Slim. I know it's not legal advice, but hopefully this anecdote will make you feel a little better. Many years ago, when my dad had his first place, he had friends over to play a game of cards. One of his friends brought a friend over that my dad had never met. My father thought that this guy seemed a little shady. He was asking a lot of questions about my dad's stereo and records. This was a Saturday evening. I'm sure you can see where this story is going. The following Monday, my father comes home from work to find his brother's dog panting in the corner with blood everywhere. The blood was all over his fur, and a trail led to a broken window where there was blood and chunks of flesh. The day before, my uncle left for a 2-week vacation and left his Rottweiler with my dad to take care of. My dad never filed a police report because he feared they would take the dog away. Instead, he cleaned up the mess, went to the store, and bought the dog a nice chunk of steak. The following weekend, my dad and his buddies were out, where they saw this guy with one of his forearms completely bandaged up. My dad, the ever-inquisitive ass that he is, asked him what happened. The guy said it was a work accident. A mutual friend chimed in and said, "You told me you were attacked by a dog." An argument and ass-beating quickly erupted. Moral of the story, don't let strange people in your house, but your sister shouldn't feel bad about it. It's just a hard lesson learned. Opie responds, "Oh my, that's absolutely awful. Sad face. We have 2 dogs at home, a German Shepherd and a Border Collie. The collie was in the garage and the German Shepherd was in the bathroom. I'm actually glad they were locked up. Mom says there was sign of distress from the German Shepherd, who our guard dog, the collie just loves everyone ever. The bathroom looked like the dogs had been pacing around and clawing at the door. She's usually fine. Although I would love to think about these loser thieves opening the door to a growling German Shepherd and being like, nope. I'm glad my girl wasn't in danger." Final update, after 4 days, November 5th, 2015. Thank you, relationships, for your advice. It actually helped me emotionally and led me to catching the perpetrator. And yeah, confronting them would have been an idiotic idea. We found knives and they have gang connections. Read original post. So thank you guys getting that idea out of my head. So a few people advised I look at pawn shops and trading sites. I took the advice and set up notifications for every post in the local Facebook trading pages. Went through hundreds. But then I saw my stuff. It was just a bag and a few dresses. I logged on to my boyfriend's Facebook account and removed my family from his friends list so the thief doesn't connect him back to us. I sent the person, she used a fake profile, a message and started a conversation about the bag, pretending I was interested. Mom called the police, and they turned up to our house as I was still talking to the suspect. Once I knew I had her, I asked for the address. Boom. It was the house we had suspected. The police moved in immediately. It was kind of exciting. I had set up a sting, thanks to you guys. We get updated later that day that they had retrieved some of our stuff from 3 different houses. Turns out there were at least 5 people who had come through our house, which is absolutely terrifying. But that does explain how they managed to wipe so much stuff. There is one adult going to court, and the girl is getting referred to a youth justice family group conference. They didn't have our more valuable items anymore, so the TVs, bike, and a chandelier. They even took the light bulb. I'm still keeping an eye out, but we're most likely going to have to replace them, which means saving up a couple $1,000s just because some people decided to be cunts. We can seek financial reparation, but the officer said these people are of a low socioeconomic status, so it could just be $10 a week. Bye, Christmas travel. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'll update if anything else happens, but I think this is the end. I'm still angry and hurt, but I'm starting to accept what has happened. I've cleaned up most of the mess they left, and the house is feeling like home again. I feel closure. Too long didn't read, got him. Comments, catatronic. Go for the reparation. Leave them destitute. They deserve it. OP responds, as angry as I am about what they have done to my family and the stress and anxiety that put us through, I don't think we will. I do want them to face consequences for their actions, but I don't think that is the right way. They're already struggling. Heck, they even stole our food. I hate them, I really do, but they stole the items to sell for money because they needed it. If we even put more strain on them, they might go out for another hit. And the girl is still a kid. She still has a chance to do well at school and lead a promising life and not end up like her family. At the end of the day, $10 a week? I wouldn't notice the difference, but for them, it's a meal that they might not have had otherwise. OP has a good heart, but I don't know if I personally agree, because these are people who, when entering OP's home, grabbed the kitchen knives and were ready to inflict maximum damage over property. You're also in New Zealand, who has a pretty sturdy social safety net from what I've been reading. I hope that whatever charges they did get hit with were enough to keep them either away or make them think twice, because if not you, then someone else. And who knows? Maybe the next person, that someone else, is unfortunate to be home when they break in. This is exactly why you have to keep a tactical kangaroo arachnid in your home at all times. Because when they break in, they see a kangaroo with 8 limbs, sprinting towards them at the speed of a small bus. Oh yeah, they'll think twice. If they're capable of thinking twice after the venom courses through their veins and causes their skin to crystallize, but, you know, kangaroo arachnid's gonna do what a kangaroo arachnid's gonna do. Got no idea if that fell flat or if that was welcome brevity. Hey, before we get into this one, just a massive content warning for body shaming. I've had previous commenters ask me for a heads up, and I'm trying to be better about making sure that I can provide that. Anyways, this post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Elado, posted to r/relationship advice December 28th, 2019. I, 23 male, gained 70 pounds and ruined my relationship. Is it okay to ask my girlfriend, 23 female, to stop making mean comments about it? So I'm just going to preemptively put this here because putting it at the end may not have people actively thinking about it. But keep in mind, this is being posted from somebody who's probably been gaslit, abused, and put into the position where they've been convinced that this kind of behavior is acceptable. So they're going to strangers to ask for help because they feel like something might be wrong, but they're being told by everyone that they're going crazy, or they're overreacting or being dramatic. Title is wrong, my age is actually 24. I just want to start by saying, I don't blame her at all. She's a great girl, and I pushed our relationship to a breaking point by gaining so much weight that I'm no longer attractive. It's all entirely my fault, so I'm not angry with her. It's just that the frequency and increasing nastiness of her comments are starting to get to me a little. Maybe I don't have a right to feel this way, I don't know. I gained almost 70 pounds in our 2-year relationship, mostly due to depression, drinking, and letting up on my previous strict diet. When we started dating, I was fit, but a bit chunky, at about 190 at 5'11". I had just lost about 40 pounds. I gained that back plus about 25 pounds more during our relationship, and I got to the 258 pounds at 5'11" at my biggest. I have now lost 7 pounds on a diet. I'm disgusting, I can't even look at myself. She brought it up after I had gained about 20 pounds, and then the comments got more frequent, and now she makes probably 3+ comments or insults a day about my weight. Here are some of the things she has done or said. I know these may seem bad, but I'm not trying to demonize her. She's great otherwise. She refers to me as her morbidly obese boyfriend to her friends and anyone else behind my back. I am morbidly obese, I think, so she's not wrong, but it's very embarrassing. I guess I deserve it though. We had an argument, rare, when she called me a disgusting fat pig and said she was counting down the days until I died of obesity. She apologized for that one, and we had a good talk about things after, but she soon went back to the comments. She buys me clothes that are too small. She says it's not on purpose, but I think it is. And then says something like, wow, I can't believe you've grown out of that already. One time she made me come with her to the shop to return a pair of jeans and swap for a bigger size. She made a massive fuss about it with the employees and basically just humiliated me in front of everyone in the store. She said she would only have sex with me if I lost at least 70 pounds. She says she can't help but find fat extremely unattractive. I do understand that, and it's okay to have preferences. I'm doing my best to reach that goal, and I want to lose even more than that. She calls me greedy and says I have no self-control. She isn't wrong, but she'll make me food, then if I eat it all, says that I have no self-control. I never eat the full amount anymore, so I guess that tactic worked. If she makes me food, I'll only eat like a quarter of it, so she doesn't say anything. I get anxiety whenever I eat in front of people now. I get like sweaty palms and think everyone is looking at me. I went out for Christmas dinner with my friends and only ended up eating a few bites because I was so anxious. I know that's a good thing, and I should be thanking her for that, but I don't want that anxiety to stay even when I lose weight. This isn't her fault, obviously. She's not responsible for my anxiety. I'd argue she is. She tries to control everything I eat. I'm on a diet and I've lost 7 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Not much, I know, but I'm going to start a water fast at the start of the new year. She didn't force me to do that, but I hate myself to the point where I would rather be dead than live in this body any longer, so I want to lose weight as quick as I possibly can. I know it's not her fault at all. I ruined the relationship when I gained weight, not her. Her reaction is understandable. She doesn't want a fat boyfriend. It must have been frustrating to watch me gain all that weight. I feel terrible for what I've done to her. She always says how much happier I'll be if I lose weight, and I know she's right. It's just, I can't help but feel hurt and almost afraid of her sometimes. Not like actually afraid, just like afraid that I'm physically repulsing her. I unconsciously suck in my stomach whenever I'm around her now. Sometimes she treats me like I'm the most disgusting thing she's ever seen. I agree that I'm physically repulsive, but I can't help but be hurt sometimes. Should I just accept it? That's what I've been doing so far. However, since I've started losing weight, is it okay to ask her to stop making comments? Too long didn't read, girlfriend frequently comments on my weight after I gained nearly 70 pounds. It's not her fault, but sometimes things she does are quite hurtful, and I want to ask her to stop. What a fucking garbage human being. That's just disgusting behavior on her part. Update 1, January 2nd, 2020, 5 days later. Sorry this is kind of long, but it did get quite eventful. Thank you so much to everyone who commented. It helped me see my relationship in a different light. So, thank you all, even the ones who said I deserved it. The general consensus was that she was abusive, which honestly shocked me at first. I really expected every comment to support how she treated me, and say she was just trying to help, etc. I thought I deserved to be abused for gaining weight. I still kind of believe that, but I think most people treat their partners with kindness. I never want anyone to feel the way I did due to their partner. Also, the high stress and anxiety levels I felt constantly are pretty terrible for losing weight. I had convinced myself that I was disgusting and undeserving of love, and she was just trying to help. But I now realize she probably wasn't even trying to help me at all. It's hard to think that of her, because I love her. A lot still, despite her faults. I realized there were a lot of things in our relationship that I was uncomfortable with that I felt like I could never bring up because she would get upset and start crying, so I would end up comforting her. Or she would just turn it on me and get angry and blame me. Things always had to go her way or she would start crying. My girlfriend was entirely dependent on me for money, and I paid for literally 95% of things. She never wanted to get a job because I paid for her. I was okay with this because I loved her and felt like I had to prove myself to be worthy of her. I paid all the rent and bills. 2 days ago, New Year's Eve, I was in our bedroom on my phone when I got a text. It was from an unknown number calling me a fat fuck and something about how I didn't deserve my girlfriend. This wasn't too unusual. I've been receiving abusive texts from several different random numbers for months, mostly about my weight, but also about all sorts of things. I had several ideas who it could be, and it was honestly eating me up inside. It was giving me extreme anxiety because they seemed to know so much about me. A few hours later, on a whim, I decided to call the number. I have done this before, but it never got answered. I even spoofed my phone number, and still nothing. You can probably see where this is going. The vibration came from my girlfriend's bag in the cupboard. I guess she forgot to put it on silent. It was like the biggest sinking feeling I've ever felt. She had purchased a burner phone specifically for texting me abuse. She took time out of her day just to put me down anonymously and wear me down further. She wanted me to be hurt and not trust anyone around me. I truly never thought she was responsible for them. The thought had come into my head a couple times, but I immediately pushed it out. I didn't believe she was capable of something like that. She was always sympathetic when I got the texts and was trying to help me find out who sent them. It hurt so badly. I could almost forgive everything else, but everyone has a breaking point. I just feel completely worthless. How disgusting must I be if my own girlfriend wants to say these things to me? Why would she do this? I don't understand. I guess she wanted me to be under her control and even more dependent on her emotionally. I'm trying to get out of the mindset that I deserve this. What a fucking monster. I knew I had to end it, and I had to do it before she would make me change my mind. I gathered all her stuff and put it into bags. I was getting extremely upset while doing it and almost stopped, but I was also angry. I don't really get angry, and I previously just accepted her treatment, but something in me just snapped. I was actually mad at her. For once. She was at her friend's house preparing to go out for New Year's Eve. I did feel guilty for ruining her night, but she had already ruined mine. I wanted to try and leave her in 2019 and start the new year without her. I had to do it right then, before I thought about it too much and forgave her like I did for everything else she's done. I called a locksmith to come and change the locks. I knew she would have an extreme reaction to being broken up with by her abused boyfriend who doesn't deserve her, no matter the circumstances anyway. So, I just had to do it. I texted her. Found your other phone. I love you, her name, but I can't put up with this shit anymore. All your stuff is in bags in the hall. Please come by and collect it tomorrow. I changed the locks, so you'll have to let me know when you're coming beforehand. Happy New Year. Yes, saying Happy New Year was a bit petty. To say she didn't respond well to this would be an understatement. She called me crying, telling me she was sorry and would stop. She told me she was just trying to help me and that she was doing it out of love. She told me she loved me more than anything and she was sorry. I almost believed her, but I didn't give in. I apologized to her and hung up. She called me back 2 minutes later, angry and screaming, how could I dare do this to her? Called me a fat, disgusting piece of shit and said she never loved me. She screamed that she never wanted me and that no one ever will. She screamed that even my own family didn't care about me. And this hurt because my mom was an abusive drug addict and my dad left when I was 10 and I haven't seen him since. She said that whenever we had sex, she was thinking about her ex and praying for it to be over. I guess she was just trying to say anything that would hurt me. I blocked her number. She called me back again on her friend's phone, screaming, how dare could I block her, and how dare I could leave her with no place to stay on New Year's Eve. I didn't do that. I would never leave her without a place to sleep. She could go to her parents, and she has plenty money that I gave her, so she could get a taxi and stay in a hotel if she preferred. She also said beforehand that she was staying at her friend's that night anyway. She posted on her Instagram story that she was heartbroken and that her boyfriend had left her homeless on New Year's Eve due to a little misunderstanding. After everything he put me through, he still does this. I loved him and thought he loved me, but I guess I was wrong. I then received messages from her friends telling me I'm a horrible person and she deserves so much better than me. Her mother, an unpleasant person, called me saying she was calling the police on me and that I was abusive. She also brought up my weight and said that it was laughable that I would break up with her looking the way I do, and I would never get anyone better. All of this was stressing me out to the extreme. I hate confrontation in any form, and I think I was just constantly shaking the whole evening. My girlfriend's friend ended up calling me on a different number and said that she and her boyfriend weren't comfortable letting my girlfriend stay over at their house anymore. They were freaked out due to my girlfriend screaming abuse at me on the phone, and she was apparently screaming at them as well and saying she was going to kill me. All her other friends at the house were freaked out too, and she was effectively uninvited from their New Year's Eve night, and they were trying to find a way to get her to leave. She was telling them that she had no money and no way of getting to her parents. This was just a straight up lie. I had given her £500 several days ago. I sent her an extra £500 out of guilt anyway. I don't know where she went for a few hours, but she came back to my house around 2 a.m. and started trying to kick the door in, and picked up a rock and tried to smash the window. It broke the window, but didn't smash all the way through. She was screaming and crying through the letterbox. I ended up caving and letting her in once she calmed down somewhat, as my brother was there with me to back me up. She was drunk and tried to attack me, but I held her back. Eventually, she just started crying. I felt really bad for her at this point and was almost ready to let her stay just for the night. But thankfully, my brother ended up getting a taxi with her to take her to a hotel for the night. I felt really terrible the next day. I loved her, and we spent 2 years together. I keep wondering if she's right, that I'll never find anyone again. I can't see why anyone would want me. I also feel really guilty for what I did, and I was probably too harsh on her to just kick her out like that. Her mother came to collect her stuff yesterday and started screaming at me, saying that I ruined her daughter's life, etc., etc. I feel really bad. I hope she's okay, and I want her to get help and realize why she treats people the way she does. I know I wasn't the first. I brushed off so many stories about her and just ignored all the signs. With the weight loss, I'm currently continuing my diet instead of water fasting like I planned. I want to try and do a sustainable diet instead of just starving myself for a month and probably getting it back. I want to try a 7-day water fast to detox though. I also need to stop relying on alcohol to relax in the evening. It was a big reason I gained the weight. I realized I'd been consuming at least 600 calories a day in alcohol alone, 3 pints of beer. I definitely used it to cope with the stress, and I need to develop better coping mechanisms. I'm going to lose all the weight in 2020. And I'm also going to get into therapy so I can sort my head out there. There are so many unhealthy thoughts I have, and I don't think hating yourself as much as I do is normal. I feel sad, but strangely relieved. I'm like I can actually make changes in my life without her. Too long didn't read, found out my girlfriend was behind abusive anonymous texts I've been receiving for months. Dumped her by text on New Year's Eve, caused a bit of chaos, and she tried to break into my house and smash my windows. She's moved back in with her parents. I'm continuing my diet and losing weight. Update 2, January 30th, 2021. Over 1 year later. Hey guys, I haven't checked this account in like a year, but suddenly got a load of notifications on my email and saw that my story got posted on YouTube. If anyone cares, I'm doing a lot better now. And it makes me physically cringe reading that old post. I was such a doormat and let her walk all over me. I'll never let anyone treat me like that again. I managed to lose all the weight I gained, plus some, in lockdown. I unfortunately gained 10 pounds back in the most recent lockdown due to exercising less, but I'm working on losing that again. I'm still much happier and healthier than I was, drinking less too. My ex tried periodically to contact me, but seems to have now got a new boyfriend. Hopefully she doesn't put him through the same shit. I've been on a few dates, but no new girlfriend yet. Soon though. I think I'm in a much healthier place to have a relationship now. Thanks for all the support. Let's fucking go, OP. Good to get your shit back together. It's okay if OP in retrospect calls himself a doormat, but it's just destructive to do so in the same position, especially when he's already dealing with one abuser. Because that negativity just kind of blurs together and is, can be tricky for some people to fully navigate. But he got out. He's now living his best life that he can, and hopefully over the past 5 years or so, he's been swinging as hard as he can. She was, without a doubt, a monster, a terrible person, and the fact that she let the mask slip so badly that even around her friends, she just let it go full fucking force, and they weren't even willing to put up with that shit, that should tell you just how alone she actually is with her feelings. The reason why she was probably so upset to lose the boyfriend who she insulted so commonly was because, well, she no longer had you to rely off of to cover all her bills, to cover all her finances, and to make sure that she could just skate by. Just vile. On a personal note, the whole thing of her buying clothes too small and making you go with her to return them for a larger size, that is actually just downright evil. I actually had something similar to this happen with me. In a very public environment, specifically at an AITA, one of my exes in front of a very packed store pretty loudly just spoke out, "You know your nose is slightly crooked, right? we could probably get you in to get it fixed, but until then, we get some makeup to conceal it. It just felt like I had so many eyes on me. Like, my nose isn't even crooked, it's just slightly unaligned in the front. Doesn't need work done, it's a slight imperfection, but it's my nose. I'm not gonna fucking go to a plastic surgeon to get it fixed, are you kidding me? But it definitely did not help with some of the body dysmorphia issues that I was having at the time. It really fucked with my head for a while. But a quote-unquote significant other that does that to you, they shouldn't be your significant other. You need to get the hell out of that relationship, because that is some toxic as fuck behavior and completely unacceptable. And unfortunately, sometimes you need a second voice to actually tell you that this is not okay. As a good example, OP in this post probably had a shit ton of insecurities that were already building up below the surface, and the girlfriend just confirmed them and continued to pile on them and continue to make them feel worse and worse and worse. But he never questioned the insults because he was already internally thinking those things about himself. So just rode with them until they reached a point where he had to feel that he had to ask publicly, hey, is it okay if I ask my girlfriend to tone down these insults? Just because it's obvious to you doesn't mean it's going to be obvious to them. Oh boy, outro. Hey, did you know you can get free samples with Gamer Subs if you just simply, go to their site and request them, if you haven't already? Use code OZ when doing so as well, and they'll mail you a little envelope full of little sample packets. It's really cool. So then you can try them out and see what you like, and therefore, if you don't like them, you don't have to make a commitment. It's a win-win. You get to try something for free, and potentially you return and use code OZ at checkout. Huh? Hey, that's a pretty cool thing they do, huh? Code OZ also gets you 10% off, so, you should definitely take advantage of that. Well, with all that being said, I'm probably just going to get this video up and then maybe spend a couple hours before bed trying to, I don't know, maybe actually relax? That'd be cool. Anyways, catch y'all later.